What is up, YouTube, and welcome to this not okay review. The movie is not okay, it's pretty good. Okay, I'm sorry. I hadn't heard of this movie until today, but I decided to check it out because I like Dylan O'Brien. I've seen many people say they can't watch this or they can't sympathise with the main character or relate to them. The recent Twitter trend of saying art shouldn't make you uncomfortable or have anything problematic in it is very, very stupid. Danny was a totally unlikable character, from her mourning not being around for 9/11, rejecting her workmate's friendship in favour of pining over the most unlikable douchebag influencer played by Dylan O'Brien, who is actually fantastic in this. I'm still waiting for Love and Monsters 2, my guy. She works at one of those BuzzFeed style places. Think, well, BuzzFeed, Vox, Refinery 29. She is trying to become a writer and submitted an article pretty much saying that 9/11 was a formative experience she missed out on, and she missed the community. I will never ever forget I saw those towers fall and the absolute unhinged insanity afterwards. I can't help but shake the fact that the writer or someone behind this maybe modelled her on Kat Denbarge due to the highlights in her hair. I just cannot unsee it. That's a journalist who's mostly recently been vocal about the Depp Heard trial, and that's all I'm going to say on that. No one seems to like her, or, well, wants to like her, and she ignores Kelvin and belittles his name just like her crush does to him. She's desperate to fit in and is rejected from the LGBT queer bowling group, even saying that they're lucky that they have a community. Now, she gets high due to her interaction with her crush, who doesn't even say her name correctly like she does to Kelvin. While intoxicated, she comes up with the idea of faking her writer's retreat in Paris because a real trip to Paris is too much. I thought this might be like a riff on Emily in Paris when I first saw the poster. She's jealous of a colleague who is going to one, and disaster strikes because while asleep, major landmarks were actually attacked, except she put online she was in Paris at the Arc de Triomphe, where one of the attacks actually happened. She'd later be found out saying she was going towards Notre Dame, which was actually it's not been opened since it burnt down. She leverages this disaster to become a famous survivor. She gets her dream of being noticed and invited to queer bowling. He says everyone's a little gay, despite scoffing at her earlier, saying she experimented. I like how the movie not only exposes her, but also the stupidly fake world of influencers. I would hate to be in that whole realm. It's just ick. She was no one before this, and while it was assumed no one liked her as she was a bit of a dick, they flocked to her afterwards to clout chase, and I don't know if some of it probably were like, oh yeah, I really sympathise with what happened to you, but it just seemed a bit fishy they suddenly all like her instantly. She later goes to a survivors group and even makes notes on triggers to use them in an article for her fake story. She makes a beeline for a survivor girl and activist, which reminded me of the Parkland survivors who became absolutely courageous voices for change. Those survivors were hated by the alt-right, but she latches onto her and steals her words. Danny is just atrocious for using these real survivors for clout, and even ignores a real survivor of the Manchester Evening News Arena bombing during an Ariana Grande concert. Her writing gets her even more clout and non-stop praise. She goes to the stratosphere, and getting an influencer party date with her crush, her story has gained her collabs and a clout-chasing guy. He clearly used her as they knock boots, and he just leaves her to take plan B all alone. Rejected by this world, she goes to the other group she's co-opted due to her lies. The strongest part of this movie, I think, is Rowan, and the young actress who plays his character is just absolutely heartbreaking. We see her trauma being co-opted, and then how people troll her online and don't believe her. A real thing happened similar to this, where the Parkland kids were really hated on, and the conspiracy theory is similar to how some people don't think that Sandy Hook actually happened. Yeah, Danny thinks she has changed, but she hasn't. She's just living these lies, and, well, she's just happy that people are talking to her. She's exposed and forced to come clean. Notably, she leaves Rowan out of her article of apology and didn't even tell her first, exposing to her to find out in possibly the worst way possible. The movie opened with drama channels talking about her, and we see her life has been ruined by her lies. She doesn't show any real true apology, and she acts like a victim, and she used the victims for her own gain. I like how at the end she does go to an online shame group, and she doesn't like being herself. She goes to apologise, but doesn't speak to Rowan as she accepts that, well, it's over. Overall, this was a really, really good and powerful movie. Zoe, the actress who plays Nanny, was really, really good in this, and I think that it is a very good sign of the times movie, in my opinion. And I think part of this might have been a really good TV show to really deep dive into this. But that's it for this video. Please drop a like if you enjoyed it, to subscribe with notifications on, and I'll see you soon, and goodbye.